Mikel Arteta would 100% leave Arsenal for this club. Yes, you've read that right. So we've got that coming up. And after that, we're going to be talking about the over 100 million euro striker that Arsenal are said to be leading the race for. So before we get into it, do me a favour. If you enjoy this type of content, just give me a thumbs up. It helps the channel massively. Right, so let me know your thoughts on this, because I find it difficult to understand. I am, of course, referring to the statement that Rio Ferdinand made that Mikel Arteta, if given the choice, would 100% leave Arsenal right now to go and join Manchester United. I mean, honestly, let me know. Do you think this is just Rio Ferdinand saying something for clicks or saying something to try and get a reaction? Because I don't see no validity in what he's saying. Mikel Arteta would never leave Arsenal, not only because he was Arsenal's captain and he loved the club, but I don't think any manager in world football would leave what's happening at Arsenal at the minute to go and join Man United. We've seen what's happened with managers recently at Man United. You go there, you get about 2 years tops, and then you're moved along, and then they bring the next guy in. So why would Mikel Arteta or any other manager risk leaving a team that is currently fighting for Premier League titles and that will be fighting in the Champions League to go and join Man United, who have failed in Europe, who are failing in the league, and are failing to get the best out of their players? I mean, all this comes down to me, is what do you want to be known as or seen as a manager? Do you want to be known as the guy who managed Manchester United for 2 seasons? Or do you want to be the guy who actually fought for titles and potentially won Premier League titles and Champions League titles with a far superior team at the minute? Man United are miles behind Arsenal, not only in terms of their development, but in terms of their structure, their players, their manager. They are so far behind Arsenal. It's scary. Look, I'm not stupid. I understand that Manchester United is a bigger club for Arsenal, but that doesn't always tell the whole story. That doesn't mean just because you are the bigger club, you're going to be able to attract a manager from any club you want, or from an Arsenal team that's competing with titles. I think it's absolute rubbish. I'm not going to carry on this story for a long time. I just wanted to bring it in to hear everyone else's thoughts. Do you think Rio Ferdinand actually believed what he was saying? Or do you think this is satire? Do you think he's done it for a reaction? Let me know. So the next story we're talking about is, it come out today that Arsenal are leading the race to sign this striker for £86 million, which adds up to over 100 million euros. I want to know your thoughts on this, because this is a striker I wouldn't go for. Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa. Arsenal are said to be pursuing this player. Arsenal are said to be actively seeking out opportunities to try and sign this player in the summer. In my opinion, this is a massive mistake. Listen, Ollie Watkins is a good player. You can't deny that. All you got to do is look at his stats. So we'll get into it now, okay? So 19 goals and 12 assists this season is a very good return. It's among the very best in Europe if we're actually looking at goals and assists put together. Last season, 16 goals, 6 assists. The seasons before, 11 goals, 2 assists. So the past 3 seasons, his trajectory is on the right path. He's 28 years old. So you would expect that. This is a striker who's coming into his prime. So if you bring him in, you're only going to get a few years out of him anyway. 3, 4 years, 5 years tops. And his stats are going in the right direction. And if you put him in a better team, he may even score more goals. But it's just not the type of profile of player that I would be going for. I would not only want a younger player, but a player with a far higher ceiling than this. And I've got some suggestions here that I think would be way better signings for Arsenal. Let me know your thoughts and let me know who you would sign in the summer if given the opportunity. We've obviously got Osimhen and Vlahovic. They are the 2 names we've been linked with. A lot of Arsenal fans want. But I've got 2 other suggestions that I think can come in and do a really, really good job for Arsenal. And they're actually outscoring Vlahovic and Osimhen in their respective leagues by a long way as well, by the way. So the first player we're going to be speaking about is Giminez. I've mentioned him on the channel before. 22-year-old Mexican playing in the Dutch league. And that is maybe a cause for concern, because we understand when players come to England from the Dutch league, they might not hit the ground running straight away. He does have ability though. 32 games, 22 goals, 5 assists. And you will get people saying, of course he's scoring that many goals. It's in the Dutch league. But in the Champions League as well, they are a Champions League side, or they was a Champions League side. 4 Champions League games and 2 goals. So that's not a bad tally. But the guy who is absolutely ripping it up at the minute is Gykores. 25-year-old Swedish player, and his stats are ridiculous. I think he might be the highest goal scoring striker across the whole of Europe this season. You'll do a very good job to find a higher goal scorer than this, okay? So 34 games, 31 goals and 11 assists. They are ridiculous numbers. The season hasn't even finished yet and he's already on 31 goals. Now, this is a player who's playing in the Portuguese league. He's in one of the better teams at the minute and you would expect that with his goal scoring record. But we know teams in Portugal can be pretty good. Arsenal went to Portugal the other day to play a team and they was on the receiving end of a 1-0 loss. Now listen, it's not as strong as the Premier League. But how much stock do you put in that? Do you go with Ollie Watkins over a Gykores or a Giminez just because he's Premier League proven? Do you think players like Gykores and Giminez at their age can come to the Premier League, adapt, and then go on to be a better goal scorer than Ollie Watkins? And I think that's kind of what you have to consider. Ollie Watkins is obviously Premier League proven, so you would expect he would maybe get the most goals in the first season, but how are you looking at this? Will Gykores come in and absolutely tear it up? Does he have the mentality to come to a massive club in the Premier League, Champions League, that's expecting to fight for titles and straight away hit the ground running? Does he have the ability to do that? Does Giminez have the ability to do that? And maybe that's why you sort of look in the direction of a Osimhen or a Vlahovic, because they are playing at big teams. They are playing in the Champions League. They are fighting for titles. So I think they would be more able to adapt to the situation that they would find themselves in an Arsenal shirt. You know, you have to hit the ground running. If Arsenal are bringing in a striker, that means you're saying to Jesus, listen, you're a good player, but you're probably not good enough. So to do that, you need to bring an absolute world-class goal scorer in. It's going to be difficult because there's a lot of top teams around Europe that are going to be searching for a striker. Everyone's always searching for goal scorers. But that is the position that Arsenal are said to be most interested in strengthening in the summer. You know, Arsenal, over the past few seasons, have been building bit by bit certain sections of the team. We've seen it with the defence. The defence has been bolstered. Midfield, the midfield has been bolstered. And now all that's left is maybe a winger, an attacker, a striker. And that's where we're said to be focusing our interest in the summer transfer market. So that just leaves the question, who do you go for? Like I said, let me know who you guys would go for. Do you take a punt and go for Giminez or Gykores? Do you go for Osimhen or Vlahovic? Or do you go for the Premier League proven player in Ollie Watkins? Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, like I said, do me the favour of just giving me a thumbs up on this video. And I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.